Why am I the first PJ in 1,000 generation of PJs to notice this article about Joe Biden from 1974 that could very well immediately sink his candidacy? You're not going to believe this article. It's from the June 1st, 1974 Washingtonian magazine, written by Kitty Kelley. Remember her? She was well known for her celebrity biographies. And it's an absolutely amazing article. Now, creepy beyond belief. I mean, okay, I admit, it's not quite as creepy as, say, John Hickenlooper taking his mother to see Deep Throat. But believe me, it's way up there. We're going to take a look in a moment at how Joe Biden talks about his recently departed wife, who tragically died in an auto accident in December 1972. It's about a year and a half before this article was written. Oh, and also his daughter, unfortunately, passed away. But the way he talks about her, it's cringeworthy. But wait, that's not all. There's a lot more to it. Not only does he reveal his profound ignorance already at 31 years old, his ambition to become president of the United States, and he also is he reveals his utter hypocrisy, especially in light of his comments about Charlottesville on a subject of bigotry. And we're going to see some rhetoric from him along this line. So let's go take a look at this article, which could very well quickly sink the candidacy of Joe Biden. Let's take a look. Okay, so here's the article. As you can see, it's Washingtonian magazine. June 1st, 1974, by Kitty Kelley. As I said, that's a well-known name. She's done a lot of biographies. It's called Death and the All-American Boy, and it's about our new 2020 candidate, Joe Biden. It says here, Joe Biden was a lot more careful around the press after this 1974 profile. Yeah, I think he would be. In fact, he might be remembering this again. I don't know why. I don't know why this hasn't been brought up. Anyway, let's go take a look at just how creepy this guy is. Okay, now here, as I said, this is about a year and a half after his wife was tragically killed, along with his daughter, in a car accident. But do you really want to be talking in public this way about your late wife? Just listen to this. It says, their marriage was perfect. Their children were beautiful, and they almost lived happily ever after. Nelia, that's his wife, was my very best friend, my greatest ally, my sensuous lover. Uh-oh, warning. The longer we lived together, the more we enjoyed everything from sex to sports. I don't really need to hear that, Joe, please. The longer we lived together, the more we enjoyed everything from sex to sports. Most guys don't really know what I lost because they never knew what I had. Our marriage was sensational. It was exceptional. And now that I look around at my friends and at my colleagues, I know more than ever how phenomenal it really was. When you lose something like that, you lose a part of yourself that you never get back again. Now it continues in the creepy department. Let me show you my favorite picture of her, he says, holding up a snapshot of Nelia in a bikini. She had the best body of any woman I ever saw. She looks better than a Playboy bunny, doesn't she? Oh, man. Come on, Joe, this is... All right. Now we're back to him talking about her. This is strange. At first, she stayed at home with the kids while I campaigned, but that didn't work out because I'd come back too tired to talk to her. I might satisfy her in bed. Oh, man. I might satisfy her in bed, but I didn't have much time for anything else. Oh, this is weird, man. I mean, do you really want to... Okay, So this creepiness in Joe, as we find out, it didn't start just like a few years ago when he started being vice president. It started over 40 years ago. Now he's talking about being a hot commodity on a dating circuit. I have no illusions about why I am such a hot commodity either. I am the youngest man in the Senate, and I am also the victim of a tragic fate, which makes me very newsworthy. Well, at least he didn't say it makes him a babe magnet, but okay. Now he was like kind of power hungry back then, probably as he is now. He says, listen to this. This is unbelievable. He defines politics as power. And whether you like it or not, young lady, he says, leaning over his desk to shake a finger at me, us cruddy politicians can take away that First Amendment right of yours if we want to. Sounds like he still has that, not only about the First Amendment, but Second Amendment as well, I'm sure. Now, for this next item, we first have to look at a clip from his Thursday candidacy announcement on the subject of bigotry to see just what a supreme hypocrite this guy is.
Charlottesville is also home to a defining moment for this nation in the last few years. It was there on August of 2017 we saw Klansmen and white supremacists and neo-Nazis come out in the open. Their crazed faces, illuminated by torches, veins bulging and bearing the fangs of racism, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s.
Now, we actually don't have to go back to Europe in the 1930s to see that anti-Semitic bile. All we have to do is go back to the 1970s to see the same sort of bile from a certain senator from Delaware. Just read this. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievably just exposes hypocrisy so beautifully. Okay, he says Biden. Okay, they're talking. He just was talking to Tom Eagleton. You might remember he was very quickly McGovern's running mate before he had to drop out in 1972. But anyway, this Senator Eagleton smoothly changes the subject as we walk back to the office. Biden tells him a joke with an anti-Semitic punchline and asks that it be off the record. Let me repeat that. Biden tells him a joke with an anti-Semitic punchline and asks that it be off the record. Yeah, it's off the record. We all know that you told it. Can you, hey, Joe, maybe could you tell us what that joke was after your sermon about the bigotry at Charlottesville? Oh my God, this is unbelievable. Now let's go. Let's see how much more profoundly ignorant this guy is. But even back then, it says later he talks about remarriage. I do indeed. I want to get married again. I hate the image of a gay young bachelor about town. Yeah, I think gay young bachelor about town. That's why I sort of had a different inference back in the 1974. That's just not my style. I am not a womanizer. I would like very much to fall in love and be married again because basically I am a family man. I want to find a woman to adore me again. Oh, yeah. Then he's talking about some reporter named Francie Barnard. And it sounds like they were rumored to be getting married or planning on getting married. But you know what? I'm going to have a link to this article down below because and you'll see why. Probably Francie Barnard, after this article was published, probably pretty quickly shied away from any idea of marriage with big mouth Joe Biden. Oh, now for some arrogance from Joe Biden. So Senator Biden's friends say he's looking for more than a wife and a mother. He also needs to find a first lady, says one, a woman who enjoys politics and will help him get to the White House. I don't know if they'll end up marrying Francie Barnard, but I do know that the woman he marries will be as rich and as pretty as she is. Well, it turned out not to be Francie Barnard. Oh, lucky you, Francie. I don't know where you are, but you could thank your lucky stars. You did not get married to Joe Biden. Now here's another thing that's going to help undo his 2020 campaign, his admission about campaign money. Listen to this. He admits that more than once he was tempted to compromise to get campaign money. I probably would have if it hadn't been for the ramrod character of my Scotch Presbyterian wife, he says. So in other words, if it wasn't for your wife, you would have sold out for money. That's a very interesting, Joe. Oh, now here he is complaining about money again, about his salary. Now remember, this is 1974, so Senate salaries were a lot lower in money then. Of course, it was inflation. We've had inflation since then. Unlike most other senators, Biden makes no bones about saying he is underpaid. Last September, when the Senate was debating a pay raise for itself, he said, "I don't know about the rest of you, but I am worth it. I am worth a lot more than my salary of $42,500 a year in this body. It would seem to me that we should flat out tell the American people we are worth our salt." Oh yeah, then here, this is funny. This is a reply here from a well-known publisher of the Manchester Union Leader, William Loeb. It says, before he finished his speech, the Associated Press was banging out a dispatch, later picked up by William Loeb, the right-wing editor of the Manchester Union Leader. Can you imagine the conceit and stupidity of a young man of 30 who would say that, said Loeb in a front-page editorial. The voters of Delaware who elected the stupid, conceited jackass to the Senate should kick him in the rear to knock some sense into him and then kick themselves for voting for such an idiot. Yeah, that is pretty funny. Okay, now we're going to get to some more of his ignorance. Yeah, here he is bad-mouthing the Senate while displaying his ignorance. Joe reeks of decency, but he's beginning to realize now how hard it is to be innovative. My kids are going to talk about me 15 years from now as being a member of the House of Lords if the Senate keeps on going the way it is, he says. There used to be great senators here who really made a difference. Men like Patrick Henry, Daniel Webster, and Henry Clay. Hey, newsflash, Joe. Patrick Henry was never a member of the U.S. Senate. Okay, but the system is so totally warped now that I doubt if even they could change things. We don't have any of those great men anymore. Yeah, what about yourself, Joe? Aren't you going to you don't consider yourself great? There are still a few guys you can trust and respect, but just a few. Oh man, talk about making friends with his fellow senators. Now here, this is going to make him popular with the 2020 Democrat electorate. He says, when it comes to issues like abortion, amnesty, and acid, I'm about as liberal as your grandmother. I don't like the Supreme Court decision on abortion. I think it went too far. I don't think a woman has the sole right to say what should happen to her body. Uh-oh, that is really going to be used against him, among other things, in this article. Well, let's see if this is the article, the Kitty Kelley article from 1974 that will sink Joe Biden's candidacy. And again, if you want to read the entire article, it's actually quite a fascinating read. I'm going to have it in the link below.